Before you dive in, smash that like button and subscribe, because this story isn't just any tale, it's a labyrinth of lies, betrayal, and shocking twists that will keep you on the edge of your seat until the very end. Ready? Let's go. Rain pounded against the abandoned train station, echoing like gunshots in the dead of night. Kael Thorn sprinted through the shadows, clutching a small, metallic case that hummed faintly in his hands. Every step brought him closer to freedom or death. Behind him, footsteps multiplied, relentless, mechanical, unyielding. The voice over the comms crackled, cold and mocking. "You can't run from us, Kael. Everything you fought for is already gone." Kael didn't look back. Not yet. He could feel the trap tightening around him. The case contained something that could topple empires, destroy lives, and rewrite the rules of power forever. Suddenly, the lights flickered, and a figure emerged from the darkness. Not a pursuer, but someone he thought he could trust. "Mara," Kael whispered, disbelief in his voice. She smiled, sharp, deadly. "I'm afraid trust died a long time ago." Before Kael could react, she snatched the case. A blinding flash of betrayal. Rain pounded against the abandoned train station, echoing like gunshots in the dead of night. Kael Thorn sprinted through the shadows, clutching a small, metallic case that hummed faintly in his hands. Every step brought him closer to freedom or death. Behind him, footsteps multiplied, relentless, mechanical, unyielding. The voice over the comms crackled, cold and mocking. "You can't run from us, Kael. Everything you fought for is already gone." Kael didn't look back. Not yet. He could feel the trap tightening around him. The case contained something that could topple empires, destroy lives, and rewrite the rules of power forever. Suddenly, the lights flickered, and a figure emerged from the darkness. Not a pursuer, but someone he thought he could trust. "Mara," Kael whispered, disbelief in his voice. She smiled, sharp, deadly. "I'm afraid trust died a long time ago." Before Kael could react, she snatched the case. A blinding flash of betrayal. Kael's world spun. The rain stung his eyes as he lunged forward, but she was gone, melting into the shadows like smoke. The hum of the device receded from his grasp and into her hands. He staggered back against the wall of the station. His chest heaved. "Why?" he shouted to the empty night. "Because you never understood the bigger picture," Mara's voice called back, calm, almost gentle, over the comms now in his pocket. Kael clenched his fists. He should have known. Too many late nights, too many secrets between them, everything had been a lie. Suddenly, the sound of engines cut through the rain. Kael's eyes darted to the horizon. Black SUVs roared toward the station, headlights slicing the storm. He had no choice. Survival meant moving fast or dying where he stood. Kael bolted into the underground tunnels beneath the station, rainwater dripping from the cracked ceilings. He knew the layout well, he had memorized it years ago, but tonight, every shadow felt like a predator waiting to strike. Somewhere in the dark, Mara was already planning her next move. And Kael realized a chilling truth. The betrayal wasn't personal, it was inevitable. The chase intensifies, the tunnels twisted like a labyrinth, echoing with the distant sound of pursuit. Kael's mind raced as fast as his legs. He remembered the emergency escape hatch, a rusty ladder leading to the abandoned metro lines, far from the city's surveillance. But someone else was ahead of him. A glint of movement caught his eye, a shadow darting across a side tunnel. Kael stopped short, heart pounding. "Looking for me?" a voice whispered. It was Silas, an old ally from the resistance faction Kael had once trusted. He stepped forward, gun leveled, eyes cold. Kael froze. "Silas, what?" "Don't play dumb," Silas said. "You left me out of the loop. You think you can run with that thing and I won't notice." The betrayal cut deeper than any blade. Kael's pulse raced. Two of his closest allies had turned against him within minutes. He lunged, twisting, narrowly avoiding the first shot. Bullets ricocheted off the tunnel walls as Kael scrambled through the debris-filled corridor. Each turn brought him closer to freedom or to death. Above ground, Mara and Silas were already communicating, forming a deadly alliance. Kael knew he couldn't outrun them forever. The only chance, outsmart them. The game of shadows. Kael ducked into a maintenance room, slamming the heavy door shut behind him. He tapped into the comms network, hoping to trace Mara's signal. A cold thought crossed his mind. Maybe he didn't need to run. Maybe he could turn the hunters against each other. Minutes passed. The hum of the stolen device vibrated in his pocket. He accessed its contents. Names, locations, blackmail files, all of it. This wasn't just a weapon, it was a map of the world's hidden power. Kael smirked. "Let's see how clever you really are," he muttered. Outside, Mara and Silas argued over strategy, unaware that Kael had already set traps. One wrong move, one underestimated lie and the game would flip completely. Betrayal is a currency in this world, and Kael intended to bankrupt them both. Kael Thorn moved silently through the abandoned tunnels, each step calculated. He could hear Mara's voice over the comms, now slightly agitated. Where is he? He can't have gone far. Kael smiled to himself. The device hummed softly in his pocket, a heartbeat faster than any human could match. He had prepared for this moment for months. Suddenly, the tunnel shook. Explosions rocked the walls. Mara and Silas had begun their assault. Kael ducked into a side passage, pulling wires from an old control panel. Sparks flew as he rerouted the tunnel's power, setting up automated traps. Above ground, Mara shouted into her headset, "He's in there somewhere. Don't let him escape." Kael watched the cameras flicker. He had control now. Silas, blinded by greed and loyalty to Mara, charged into the first trap. A flash, a heavy clang, and Silas was down, immobilized but alive. Kael's fingers danced over the panel. Mara would follow, and when she did, he'd be ready. The confrontation, the tunnel's end opened into a massive abandoned train yard, rain still falling from the broken roof. Kael stood in the center, the metallic case in his hand. He heard footsteps approaching. Mara appeared, rain-soaked and furious. "Kael, hand it over." "I don't think so," Kael replied, voice steady. Mara lunged, but Kael activated the trap. Nets of electrified wire shot from hidden launchers, forcing her to dodge and retreat. Her expression changed from anger to shock. This was a fight she hadn't anticipated. "You set this up, alone?" she hissed. Kael shook his head. "Not alone. I have the advantage of knowing exactly who you are. Betrayal isn't just about taking sides, it's about understanding motives." Mara's face hardened. "Then you'll die understanding it." Twist. The ultimate betrayal. Suddenly, another figure emerged from the shadows. Silas, freed from the first trap. He held a second device, identical to the one Kael carried. Surprised, Silas smirked. "You thought you controlled everything, Kael, but you were just a pawn." Kael's heart sank. The betrayal cut deeper than before. He realized the entire chase had been orchestrated by Mara and Silas together, a perfect double cross. The rain fell harder, drumming on the metal roofs like the countdown to disaster. Kael had seconds to act. He reached into the case, revealing a hidden compartment with a pulse emitter. One press, and both Mara and Silas' devices would be neutralized. "This ends now," Kael whispered. He activated the emitter. A pulse surged through the air. Both Mara and Silas' devices sparked and died. Their alliance shattered in an instant. Kael lunged forward, grabbing Mara. "It's over," he said. Mara struggled, eyes wide with shock and anger. Silas, stunned, tried to recalibrate his device, but Kael smashed it to the ground. The storm around them was mirrored by the storm in their hearts. Trust broken, alliances shattered, and a world forever changed by a single metallic case. Resolution and call to action. Kael stood in the rain, watching Mara and Silas retreat into the shadows. The city lights flickered, reflecting off puddles like shattered glass. He knew this wasn't the end, only the beginning. But for now, he had survived. "Some betrayals cut deep," Kael muttered. "But survival is the sweetest revenge."